Okay, so we're on page Kuf Mem Tes. We're still discussing the Indian view of O. So now it's showing how went back and forth. Now in the process of discussing how they're closer to each other. What's sure? קוראים את השור מתחיל זה, לגבי זה השפעה פנס יש ממש, וידוע דבעילו ואולו, דבעילו ואולו, הרי כל אילו שיפנס רוח לגבי אולו ממנו, הרי גם יפנס אולו לגבי לא שלמה ממנו, ויפנס יש לגבו. So he's showing us how, maybe a line before, ידוע שמשפיע כמו שמשכיל, we have to, sorry, the two madrigas in the משפיע גופו. So let's take four lines on the top of the page. Hein בהשפעת השכל, גם שהשפעת השכל הרב, כנס רוחס לגבי מקבל, the way that השפעת הרב is in the world of the Rav, the way the idea that the teacher teaches is כנס רוחס לגבי מקבל, compared to the makabel, compared to the student, it's as spiritual, it means abstract, and kol because it's mitzias hashpah. Still mitzias hashpah, v'yipnas yesh, gam l'gabe, v'yipnas yesh. Something, it's a mitzias, gam l'gabe atzim sa'ila, gam l'gabe atzim, k'ma shava mashpia, koidem shabali de hashpah. So there's a seichel mashpia, koidem shabali de hashpah. V'yachas to that, the hashpah, the way it is, in a state that is already body the ashpa, it's more mitzias yesh. Okay, now earlier on page Kupam Ches, the kloyes yotzes, the fact that kidneys are considered the advisors, which means that their function is to be megashim, to bring it down more into the world of the makabel. Yotzes li sechel ba'aksham alefne zakas al kach. So the way the ashpa is in the state after the kloyes yetzes is a mitzias yesh compared to the way it is in the world of the sechel k'mashav mashpia koidem shabo. Kol shekain shehu p'nes yesh mashpia k'mashav lo p'nes ila adayin. It is machalik in the mashpia guf and the teacher there are two stages. There's the way shel lo p'nes ila adayin is not yet in a state of being a mashpia b'chalal. So compared to that, when the idea in his mind is already an intangible state, compared to that, that's mitzias yesh. And also compared to asech k'moshe mashpia. There's the mashpia himself, and there's the sech k'moshe mashpia. So he says, brings from something that's known from other places. Shamashpia k'moshe maskila masgin la'atzmoi. When he learns it on his own. It's not ila. He learns the thing on its own. That level, when he learns the topic himself, is not even ila. He's not in that. He's in a state of learning on his own without yachas to the ma'ila. So l'gabe is shpochnes yesh mamish compared to the way the seichel is when he learns on his own, to the way the seichel is, the way he thinks about how to teaching it. I'm sorry. So the seichel, the way he teaches how to teach it, that is yesh mamish. But there's a second way. That's a kol shekin. But earlier he spoke that even in the world of the seichel, you're already thinking about being mashpia in that gufa. There's two stages. There's the stage that is within a mashpia, and the way he's thinking, he's already developing words how to tell it to the makabel. So in both of these scenarios, the seichel ha'oil makabel is Metzias Yesh. Kayadua. Then he brings another, not Kayadua, he brings another way to explain it. The Gab is Yadua, the Ba'al Ila Va'ola, Kol Ila Shemanas Ruch, the Gab Onu Meno, Arei, Upchnas Olo, Gab Ila Shemanas, Upchnas Yesh Gabo. So compare relative to the higher Madrega, even the Ilo itself, relative to the Madrega above it, it's Upchnas Yesh. Okay. So if he finished, let's just see what he was saying here. So
What's the idiom from Cloyers? What's Cloyers?
okay, so we brought it earlier. The Gemara says the Chazal say when you get Avom again, but in the way Chazal explained, the way the Shamba works is the Cloyers, the kidneys. That's the kidneys, the yoyetzes. Their function is to bring down the idea in a way that it should be the makabel should be able to handle it. That's the concept of kloyes here. It says, like I said, the Gemara Chazal uses a lot of times that concept that there's mayach and lev and the kloyes here. It's kloyes take it down even lower than the lev.
Cloyers has nothing to do with Seichel.
That's what it's in lev also, but that's the whole point. That the kloyes is that state within the parts of the esospheres whose function is to bring it down, bring the seichel down in a very practical stage. You know, we have an expression in our own regular life. It's called the gut feeling. In other words, there's some things that come from your guts. That's in the modern, the more mundane view of life. So Chassidus, again, based on Chazal, brings the in of kloyes here. It's the kloyes, the kidneys. Kidneys have a certain function that they filter through the idea. Is said the lashon earlier in page Kuf Memches. Kloyes yetz is a lashon in page Kuf Memches. Kloyes yetz the ema shpia shloyes seichel dakim be'erach hamakabel. That's the function of kloyes. Now, like I said, the way from our simple understanding of kloyes is not related to it. Kloyes, the kidney's function is to cleanse the blood. It does something physical. But you can say the same thing about heart. From our current view of what a heart does, a heart is just a pump of blood. It doesn't. Now, according to the current view, everything happens in the mind, in the mayach. All the feelings alter in the mayach. But in Chazal, in our tradition, the lev is with the heart. Even in our tradition, common saying is my heart. Why? Because the heart, the feelings are the heart feels. We feel the physically in the heart. So that's something we could relate a little bit. Same thing in the world of Chazal. The way Chazal explain it is kloyes is a stage below the heart. The Aviyah says kloyes. Sometimes we remember melech hashateves moyach left kovid. Sometimes we say it's the liver. So all the lower part of the body, all the big the important limbs inside the body, the lower parts, they represent in the spiritual sense the idea of the tzimtzum that's mitzamtzum dashpa. That is the end of the kloyes. Al Kaponim, Nigel Yanenu, what he said here
Maybe
starts.
because they are all involved with blood.
Yeah,
Blood is
maybe.
highest.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, you can understand why, because the function is to filter the blood, Yeah, like I said, sometimes it says covet also. All these parts of the body, their function is to filter something within the blood. But so in the nim, it's more like a nimshal and moshli. Like I said, the Gemara talks about Avram Avinu. Nasik, there's a famous medrash. Nasik liyosef shel Avram Avinu. In Chazal, that's close affect the actual way of the way we think and feel. Like I mentioned before, that the chayur is connected to our common expression. The person has a gut feeling because we say it a gut. Gut is also from the Ivarim Apnimi, which is similar to Koved or to Kloyes. Okay, that's the way it's usually explained. So, but the point what he made here is that Kloyes says that the like I said, that the idea, the Megashim. So basically, he just finished one thing, and now he's going to start another, right after the Gabot. So again, if you remember in the page from Ches on the bottom, there's he starts a discussion in the Shom. It says when we call the Ein Zeshepnes Ein Mamash. So at first in page from Ches and from Zank from Ches, he showed the Ein Aroich of the Ila and the Olu. That it's only Chelak Asir Chitzenius. What part of the Ila reaches in the Olu? It's only Chitzenius. That was first part, he said. Then, and starting from that Lashon Mekom calls there, so he showed the opposite view, the opposite side. How Einach Nam it's Chitzenius, but it's not Ein Mamish. The way the Olu, the Ila is Koil the Olu, it's already, there's something there. It's not Ein Mamish. And you get the three Meshalim we spoke about, the Marshal of Seichel Midas, the Marshal of Rav Talmud, and the Marshal of Mesikas Atapuach. In all three of them, you showed how the way it is in the Ilo, it's already Metzias, ain't the Ein Mamish, Metzias Yesh. So the last thing you're saying is also Benegea to that the Seichel, in the Marshal of Seichel Rav Talmud, in Seichel Rav, is much better than Talmud, the Seichel Talmud, the way it is in the Rav, which is the Ilo, it's already Metzias Yesh, something plus Yesh. Now, okay, so we explain these two sides of Ilavol. Now he says, so how does the Ilah? So again, we understood both sides of the Yachas of the Ilah to the Ol. On one hand, it's Shalei Ber. On the other hand, it's not Ein Mamish. Then he says, how does it actually work? That an essential part of the actual ilah, of the source, of the cause, turns into, is drawn, is pulled down into the world of the olu, and that creates the olu. So we say that also in the Meshalim we spoke till now. Like I said, there are three Meshalim. Marshal Seichel Midas, Rav Talmud, and Mesikas Atapuach. It starts from Rav Talmud. So in the Marshal of Rav Talmud, Mashpia Makabel, so he says, what happens in Ashpas Seichel? Mehusa Ora Seichel Mashpia Nishach Makabel. Essential part, expression of the Seichel Mashpia, the way he understands something, that itself reaches the Makabel. The teacher takes an idea that he knows. He learns Geshtekal Gemara, let's say, Shnamers and Betalis. The student doesn't know, doesn't understand, and the teacher takes that idea the way he understands it, and he gives it to the Makabel. So the Mahus Ha'ora Seichel, the Mashpia gives the Makabel. That's Marshal 1. Chen B'Seichel Shel similar in the Marshal of Seichel Midas, Araya Ergesh B'Seichel Bar Lalev, and Asim B'Zeichel B'Lev. He elaborates a little more on this idea that a piece of the mashpia of the ilah God comes to the makab. What how do we see the seichel in this? That the ergesh b'seichel, the seichel, like we said earlier, that in the seichel, the spilus, that we call the spilus seichel, that the seichel itself he has a certain level of excitement, and that itself is drawn into the world of emotions. What's the difference between the way it is in the seichel and the way it is in the lev? Shebesham, bo ergish paras ergish atzmek, lev. The ergish, the way it's in the world of the lev and the heart and the emotions is ergish atzmai, like we said earlier, toiv loy. He feels that this is good for him. Mashenk in the way it's in the world of the seichel, it's not toiv loy. It's a toiv. It's good. He recognizes, he understands that this is good. This is not how it's good for him. But Gam now he introduces another thing that he didn't introduce till now. He's earlier in the start of the page, he said that there's dvekus and already called it Ispilus already. Here he says that in Ispilus Gufa there's hergesh and Ispilus. What is the difference? He says a hergesh atzmai is in the left, but in the seichel it's hergesh nicht hergesh atzmai. The gam another thing is a Ispilus shebelev my Ispilus shebeseichel. Yeah, it's one of these things that it's hard to describe how we actually experience it. Just to talk about a concept. If the seichel does not get excited by the idea, so the male automatically the heart is not going to get excited either. So we see here that's prove the point this proves the point that he's making that the spirals, the way it's on the left, it's really an extension of the spirals of the seichel. So that is what Tanya calls timtam amoyach. The mind is metumtum. It means closed up. What's meant this? She'ena mispal b'moich. His mind, in his mind itself, he's not in a state of spirals. He's not overwhelmed. And he goes into more details here. What? שהגם שמרגיש את הדבקות במוח, מכל מקום אין מספרס. Like I said, it introduces another halukah with margish mispar. To say that I really have understanding, but what's the difference? No, I don't really have a good understanding. What is the difference? In Maya Guf, there's margish and there's mispar. Margish means
Mispile is deeper.
I don't know if it's deeper. Look what he says. Move on Shagam Ergesh and Amiti. The fact that the Ergesh does ring is spileless, you know, I feel something, there's feel, yeah, but it's translated in simple English. Ergesh means you feel it. Spileless means you are overwhelmed by it. You're excited. So
that means it's touching you more in the core, no?
Are you here?
Hello? No.
Yeah.
It's not clear. It's just on and off. Mendel, do you hear them?
I didn't hear anything.
No, I don't hear. I think we lost him. I think he's off the line. I don't see him.
So yeah, maybe I was going to suggest I should go out and come back in again.
Maybe I'll send him a WhatsApp.
Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, we are here now.
Yeah,
Something was
we're
wrong.
here.
Something got cut off. I don't know what.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, good.
Was it by me?
It was
Was it
too
by
much
me?
kedusha. Couldn't handle it. The
It
line
was
could
by
not
you,
handle it.
yeah. It was by you, it was by you. Okay,
Something by
good.
me? Sorry. Okay, let me go back. Okay. So
I'm saying it was too much kedusha. Couldn't handle it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Timtum hamoyach, timtum halev is mamish al Kedush. So now we're talking about timtum hamoyach. She'im hoya ergesh amiti mispar b'moyach, she'ergesh ein amiti mizeh ein mispar. Look, we can relate to this maybe not in such a short, maybe in practical terms. Let's say if a person, let's forget about the moyach. If a person feels something, if you feel it, you'll have a real strong, really feel it really it's gonna affect them, it's gonna overwhelm them. If it's any ergesh amiti, if it's something very superficial feeling. So again, what kind of mashalim can you bring here? It's like the topic is, it's not something that's so easily describable. The person has a hergesh, which does mean a spilus. He feels something, but it doesn't move him. He's not moved. He goes comes to verbringen. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what what kind of how can we relate to it in relatable terms? Rastafari feels some kind of inspiration, but it doesn't overwhelm him. It's superficial. Yeah, we can that language we could use, but the problem. So that's sort of intuitive a little, but here he's talking within the moyach, But I just said it's stam. A person can have, he feels something, but it's not a myth, it's not a real feeling. But mele, it doesn't overwhelm him, it doesn't transform, doesn't change him. It's just he feels good about something, but it doesn't really take him over. So that the concept of ergish uninspired maybe we could relate to. But the problem is here now, something more subtle, more within the moyach. He talks within the moyach itself. The two stages: there's the regesh and there's the spirals. First, he feels good, it's good, and then he's the spirals. It overwhelms him, takes him over. So that this stage one, if the stage two doesn't happen, it means the stage one ain't amiti. It's not a real feeling. To have a real feeling, he will be taken over by it. And all this is within the moyach. So that means timtum hamoyach, because it lacks the spirals. B'meile says, b'meile please timtum halef, she'enim b'spiral b'libud. Because in this part, in this section of the Maimah, what he's bringing out is the how the spirals of the lev, which is the olo, is really amshachas mahus of the spirals shebemoyach. It's really a continuation, it's really an expression, an extension. That's the point he's making here. So it brings a dogma to explain it to us from that yachas of the moyach to the lev. If the moyach, in order for the lev to have a real spirals, there has to be spirals in the moyach also. If there's timtum lev, so there's timtum moyach. That's the point he's making. Because in his intellectual state, there's no hergesh amiti and there's no spilos. So that's timtum hamoyach. The lev is also metumtum, so the lev is also closed up. He doesn't, in his heart, he doesn't ever feel a real spilos.
There is no hergesh, there is no spirus b'moach because he didn't understand it completely, or what is the cause of the persistence?
Doesn't say anything about understanding.
No, it's in the first stage. Why there is no spirus b'moach?
Because ain't hergesh amiti. Why? I don't know. She'ergesh ain't amiti. Because the moyach doesn't really, I don't know if understanding is the right word. The moyach did not really connect properly. There was no.
I'm saying the reason there is no hergesh amiti maybe because he didn't really fully understand it. Or is this true a statement? Or can we say that or not necessarily?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's sort of the level of understanding. It has to do with the level of connection. Because we're not talking now that understanding. It's more of an idea of the moyach is not open to, it does not open-minded enough to take it in. So let me take a look up in Tanya where it's using the lesh. 1 second.
I'm trying to understand what brings the spirus hamoach, hergesh hamoach. What does trigger that?
Yeah, it's a good. I understand what you're trying to do, but I wish I would know. What's 1 second? Let me see what it says. Okay. In Tanya, it only talks about timtum halev. In Tanya, it doesn't take the language of timtum hamoyach. Looks like. 1 second.
I think we learned before, maybe other Maimorim, that it is because the moach is not the keli, doesn't have the proper kedusha, it's not proper keli to understand and hergesh because of the shtu. So whatever it is in the I think if I remember correctly.
Yeah, of course. But okay, in Tanya always talks about timtum halev. There's 3 places in Tanya: Chavov, Zayin, of Tes, Lamed talks about Timtum Alev. Where's Timtum Amayach? Timtum Amayach. Let's see. What does it say here? What is source of that? Yeah, that's what's interesting. Like you said, it's less lack of understanding. But in the Maimorim, they talk about Timtum Amayach. The Maimorim talk about Timtum Amayach. They say that the result, the cause of Timtum Amayach is more lack of Edelkeit. It says, 1 second. Let me see. Sorry, just a second. So there's the mime of the famous mime of the Rebbe in Lefikach Niva Rishonim Seif and Zion, one of the famous mime of the Rebbe, and avoided the mime. So over there he talks that Timtum al Moyach comes from lack. It says Sibas Eidim Agasim Amgushomim Mushuka Taivas Nelamaze. It's a certain lack of Edelkeit. That case, that doesn't allow the Moyach to be misspelled. So it's not. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's what you said. Lack of understanding. It's something more spiritual. It's a lack of connection. That's a thing to my Moyach sounds like. One second. Let me look one more place. Let me see everything to my Moyach. One second. Let's see. There isn't Tanya. I'm sorry, Tanya. One second. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. It isn't Tanya. We're in Tanya Perek Tes. Let's see.
Sorry, what's the design? Sorry, the man of the Rebbe, touch design.
One second, I'll bring it in a second. Lefikach Niko, Shabbat Shmini. Lefikach Niko Rishonim Seifim, Shei Seifim.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. What is your Mayach here? One second. It's a losh in tiny bake of that. Af shemevin am izbeinem besichloi v'duas Hashem eine nitfas v'nitbag v'moiche kol kach shechelim shal chumri salev. But they're talking about Timtum Alev. I don't know where they got Timtum Alev. It's the hours of the Rebbe. The way the Rebbe explains the Tanya. The Rebbe explains the Tanya that it's the hours of the Rebbe of Tanya that he says that in the Maimon that in Tanya Perek Tes it's talking about Timtum Amayach. Okay, I don't see it. That looks like that's the way the Rebbe understands it. But 1 second, let me check something else. Mhm. In Tanya Chavtes, he talks about how do you deal with Timtam Amaya, Timtam Alev, to breaking yourself, to Mizbainin Haloyo. See it. No, sorry, just one more time. Oh, the Rebbe is Medayik in Perek Chavtes, and they also talk about the simple Perek Chavtes, Tanya talks about Timtam Alev, but the Rebbe is Medayik in Lashonis here that also talks about Timtam Amaya. That's what's interesting here is that we're getting into all the discussion. The point he wants to bring out here is something. Again, it's not that's easy to understand. He wants to bring out that what reaches the olu, the makabel, which in our case is the lev, the heart, is only what the mashpia gives it, which is the mayach. So he brings a rayef, the fact that if there's timtam mayach, there will right away timtam alev. In other words, if let's say it would be more like a trigger, like a switch, you do something here, so that automatically does something else. But they're not related. Then why can be timtam amayas, and the lev should still be spileless. The fact that the lev depends on the moya, the spileless sheba lev depends on the spileless sheba moya, that proves that the spileless sheba lev is really an extension of the spileless sheba moya. This is the concept he wants to bring out here. So, but in order to prove to explain to us this concept, we are introduced to this whole discussion, the way things operate. There's a mile, there's the ergesh and the spilus, and if there's the ergesh any amiti b'meila is no spilus, b'meila the lev is also tinted. Oh, cool. B'meila, that's it. B'meila k'nes tintum al lev she'enim mispal b'libe klav hu ki me'ergesh omech nasa ergesh v'lev mispal shomech nasa shprash v'lev. So that proves the point we made that the moyer, the ergesh, and the spile now brings them there's in the lev also there's madrigas ergesh and the spiles. Like I mentioned earlier, from our personal understanding, it's easier to us to relate to it in the world of emotions because in seichel guf the chalukah is very subtle. In emotion, we could say that someone feels, but he feels good about something, but he's not overwhelmed. So he has the hergish, but it's not his pilus. So he says the ergish shebelev comes from the ergish shebemoyach, and the pilus shebelev comes from the pilus shebemoyach. Kopon v'haina. So that proves the point he make here. Shemehus ha'ora shala'ilan nim shemanasa mahus olu, u'shemehus moich nasa mahus mitzvah. So that proves that aspect of Ilav Olu. I want to say something. That proves that idea how the ilo, the actual, so to speak, piece of the ilo reaches the olo. So you remember, he started with the marshal of Rav Talmud, and it wasn't marich in it, because that's something we can easily relate to. That when a teacher gives the student, we call it in English, a piece of his mind, he understands something, and he gives that thing to the makabel. So we see that the ilo, the actual thing that the ilo reaches the olo. So that marshal is just said one line. Now in the marshal of Seichel Midas, you got into more discussion, because, like I said, it's not something it's not that obvious. It's not that obvious, and it's not that intuitive, maybe. That's why he elaborated it. He proved, you need to prove the fact that Timtum Alev comes from Timtum Amoyach. That shows us that really what the Ispal Shebelev is really an extension of the Ispal Shebemoyach. Now he goes to the third marshal. Third marshal of the Mesikas Atapor, the constant Mesikas Shebemazel. Shemehus Ha'ora. Mesikas Shebemazel Nimsha Ve'esav and Asa Mesikas Ve'esav. Again, like I said yesterday, that this entire concept is not something we can really. I can't like this. It's pointed out in a way that we can relate to. It's conceptually, the idea is that if there's sweetness in the apple, there must be sweetness in the source of the apple, which is the mazel. And so at first he said it's a different type of sweetness. That's what he said earlier. Then he said it is mesikus. Now it says the third so to speak, aspect of the concept of ilo va'olu, that the piece of the ilo reaches the olo. So he says the mesikus shebemazel nice mehamesikus shebemazel nase ba'esav atam v'mesikus shebemazel. The actual sweetness of the mazel that is expressed in the apple, in the it says asid. Okay. Now he talks about another fourth unique quality and definition of ilo va'olu. Since we described a few pieces of the puzzle, what is ilo va'olu? Now it brings in another. Because in ilo va'olu, because we just said now, the ilo va'olu, a piece of the ilo reaches the olo. So there's nitvas bashpo. The ilo is affected. It's captured. What's meant us? Because an actual part of him is drawn away from him. So he's involved. He's captured by it. He can. It's not. He's not indifferent. He's not from afar. So he brings now he brings in another mush. So one of the earliest mashalim, I feel of olo, is the way the galgalim turn. So he says, "Kol miniam is in order for you to move something, that's a very physical muscle. In order for you to move something, you have to move yourself. If I want to move, if I want to move, let's talk about when you go on a bicycle, you want the wheel should move. Why do you do it? Your feet move. So the mania, the ilo has to move himself. So what is that? So that's a concept. It's a famous concept in talks about it in the world of early astronomy and Zbot and Chassidus and Kabbalah. Anything that moves someone else, he must move himself. So that proves nimshach mos, because nimshach mos shaloi says nitfas. He's himself involved. Lachein gamkein olo nasa b'isem shalayila, because the ila, the cause, the mashpia, is involved. Misnaneh ba'atzma, he also moves himself. לכן גם כן העולם נעשה בעשה המהות של העילה. So במילא, that is, because of that, the concept we mentioned just before, because that the ilo, the all is really a meusa ilo. דהיינו שהמסיקה שבמזל נעשה בעצם הטעם והמסיקה שלו. That the mesikas of the mazel, that itself, mehamesikas, that sweetness is so to speak drawn in, pulled into the asef should be sweet. שהגוף העשר מציאוס ומקרח צמח. ומה שנעשה מהמזל הוא החייס והטעם, because there's a great סימן חוב. I brings another point, because there's a few, in order for the, talking about semer, the world of vegetation. In the world of vegetation, we have these two madrigas. He says here that really, according to Gas HaKadosh Simachov, the explain the Gas HaKadosh, there are two aspects. The gufa, there's like in everything, there's the gufa adovo, and there's the tzur, the chaymer and the tzur. So let's say the tapua, there's the actual, the physical part of the tapuach, but it also has a taste and a color, etc. So he says here that the gufa, the tapuach or the asev is created from koyach hatzamech sheba'aretz. But the tam and what else is it? The tam v'amesik, tam v'amesikus. I don't know, it's two things. The taste, the sweetness, that comes from the mazel. The two parts. There's the physical part of the vegetation comes from koyach hatzamech sheba'aretz. And the time, the taste, the sweetness, that derives from koyach hamazal sh'lamayim. So okay, so again, I don't know. So that brings out what he said, that the mesigas itself is nimshach in the tapua. Chain b'seichel midas. Now jumping back to the other mashal of seichel midas. Harei anase be'ol ergish paras kanal. That we just explained Barichas earlier. That the ergish paras of the lev is really an extension of the ergish paras shabemoya. Ba'ashpas seichel, and then third mashal, ashpas seichel also nasa gam etzal makabel seichel. V'hainu mipnei shenimshach mehus ha'or ma'ila la'ol nasa gam p'mos shaleil. In other words, an essential part of the ol of the ilo, which in the last mashal is the mashal of the Rav Talmid, but now I think it's done with the mashalim. Now he's talking about the concept. So we have again the three mashalim, and he goes back to the concept. Nimshach zeh the ilo v'ol shebe'er zeh lazeh. So that whatever we learned till now, that brought out that side that shows that ilo v'ol shebe'er zeh lazeh. They're in the same dimension. They're within the same world. Agam shorachik ma'idar chalamayil kanal. So it takes us back to the opposite view. What do you learn in page from Ches? There's a richa ka'era. There's a certain level of divide. Like say seichel, Talmud seichel arav, they're very far apart. Or mesika shebamazel, mesika shebetapuach, far apart. Or even seichel and midas. Seichel and midas are two different worlds in a way. But on the other hand, the komgo is in be'er zeh. So again, so we have the two sides in the Ilavol. And what's the reason? The Sha'ila Gamkas Mitzius Musao Mitzius, or Mehus Ao Sha'ila Nimshach Venasa Mitzius. He's using more words to bring out the same point. That the Ilo and Olo are really part of the same world. So that for that reason, the concept of Ilo is called yesh mi yesh, not something from nothing, but something from something. That the two, they're both in the world of yesh, but from one type of yesh to a different type of yesh. Yesh mi yesh ruchni, leibknes is chachus. It's not something that the Ilo, the Olo is something new, which is totally didn't exist before. And they have some kind of have relation of modern relation. They're the same. They're on the same level of value. Okay. All right. Continue tomorrow. Sure.
Thank you. Good job.
Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Uh,
Not tomorrow.
yeah.
Sunday. You're right. Okay.